For I think the last 2 days. But I think I did more of my videos than I did some recordings instead of just going live. Um, but that's what it is. I just thought I would just reach out and say hi, and not just that. There's just so much stuff going on in this world today. It's really sad about everything that's happening. There's so much war, so much hatred, um, values, family values, everything has just been thrown out the window. It has. I remember being a little girl, and I don't ever remember it being that as bad as it is now. I feel so bad for um, my grandchildren. Their generation is, they have to go through a lot of stuff. I remember being a little girl, and the only fire drills that I ever remembered growing up was just a regular fire drill that you would go through. Now you have to worry about, um, what do you call it? Um, other not fire drills, but other drills that you have to go through because of the commonplace of people coming into school buildings, and now we have to worry about our children, the people that teach our children, about wondering if some crazy person's going to come in with some gun and try to hurt our children, or even the people that are teaching our children. And now they have to have these other drills now that we never had to do when we were little, going to school. But now we have to do that in the workplace too. We have to what do you call it? They call it lockdown, and there's another one. But we have to do that too, even in the workforce. Things have definitely changed since I'm sure my parents didn't have to go through all that. I mean, my dad being military, I'm sure he had to go through certain things that most civilians don't have to go through, right? But uh Melody, what though? Pondering in this very cold night. Yeah, right. It is. It's very cold. It is cold here, honestly. And pondering, I ponder all the time, always thinking about all the craziness that we have to go through on a daily basis. It seems to be a commonplace, you know? Hmm. Old. Okay. Shakespeare. Hi, nice to meet you, Shakespeare. Really? But really, there's so much going on. It's really sad that we have to. I just feel bad for my grandchildren's generation. I think after my generation, I think mostly when I was a teenager, it started getting bad. But I think my daughters, down to my granddaughters, and grandson, go through a lot more. than what I had to go through when I was little. I mean, there's so much to worry about. Man, we were able to stay outside until we were, oh my gosh, until the lights were about to go out, and then we had to make sure we were home. But now we have to worry about creepers and reapers just picking up your kids and doing whatever, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's really a lot of stuff to think about. And what do you mean by okay? Alas, the mind is a swirling storm, for thoughts breeze through as the stormy wind. Ah, you're a poet. Ah, Shakespeare's definitely Shakespeare, even though he doesn't exist anymore. Hi, how are you? And I don't know what you mean by old. Who's known what? What? Good? That's good. Michael McCoy. Where do you guys come from? Who am I? I didn't even introduce myself, did I? My name is Victoria Mery Diaz, but that is my husband's last name. Really, by birth, I am Victoria Rivera. Hair. The world's gone to hounds with thy not. No more noble folks or integrity. Okay. You are definitely using some of that old English. Gone to hounds. Doeth. That doeth. The old English part where they put the at the end of everything. Technology has made it harder for those things to happen because it's easier to track kids. It's easier with the tracking with the kids, but the creepers are everywhere, and they're even on the internet. So you gotta watch out a lot more because you don't know who your kids could be talking to, believe it or not, some of these kids in the schools. I remember, what was that? Okay. Pooped my pants, really? No, I remember when there was someone I know, he came from the city, but really they came from another country, then they came to they moved to the city, and their kids went to the city school there, and where they went, it was pretty bad. And they had to worry about their own kids within the school because there were a lot of guy kids or kids that were boys that were going in and raping or having sexual things with the girls. And there was one girl that got raped there. And that's when they decided to move their kids out of the city, and they landed up in Rome, New York, upstate New York, where it's not as bad at all, but there's still some things that do happen. So really, it's not just creepers of males and that. Sometimes you have to watch them with kids themselves within the school districts. Some of them are, I don't know, some of them are, there's so many things I can say, but I don't know how to put it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sound, because I've seen some stuff. I used to work in the school district, and you can see some of these kids. Um, oh my gosh, OMG. I I don't want to say it on here. It's that bad. And where do they learn it from? They learn it from society. But where is the first teaching it comes from? Not many people want to admit it. It all starts at home first. And then from home, you learn it in the society. How sometimes your kids hide things from you too, because they don't want you to know. So, I mean, it might be easier with technology, but then it's more difficult because you got to watch. Even the technology, you have to watch even those closest to you, because even your own family members that are close to you, they could be your closest people to you, and they could be hurting your, even the creepers could be the closest people to you. And you don't need no technology for that either. I mean, you can still have technology for it, but is your kid going to stand up and say something? Sometimes we keep quiet. I remember an experience when I was younger. I don't really want to say who or what. He was a family member. A cousin. And he did things that he shouldn't have done. But I fought him. And he never got to that point. But I never told anybody because I didn't think anybody would believe me. So I kept it quiet for the longest time. And I'm not the only person that would do that. There's more people like myself. And how that happened is I eventually I told my dad that I wanted to move with my mom up in upstate New York. He didn't ask me why, and I never said why. My uncle knew something was wrong, but I wasn't going to say anything. He didn't know, understand what happened, but I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't feel like anyone was going to believe me. But I landed up here, and I was a mess. And I talked to some sort of person to help me out mentally, because I was a mess. And she said everything would, be quiet between me. Yeah, right. I told her what happened, and she goes and calls the authorities in that state where my cousin is. I don't want to say where it is. And they went there, and at the same time my father was there. What did he say? Oh, she's a bad girl. She just likes to, make this up, make that up. Oh, you can't just believe that. I was so mad at my father for that. Because he didn't even know what happened. No one knew what happened but me and him personally. He knows what he did. I know what he did. And I lived with my aunts with him. So, believe me, the own creepers can be within your own family too. It doesn't even have to be out in public or in the school system or other kids that are doing nasty things. It could be within your own family. Nobody talks about that very much, do they? Um, but I never took it anywhere because I was like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm far away from. That's why I never went back to that state. I never attempted to go back. That's why I'm here. Eventually I will get out of here, but um gotta have money to do that first. Gotta have a job to do that first. So there's a lot of things to think about. So that it's just so it's really not, technology is good, but then technology isn't great. It has its pros and it has its cons. I remember having my phone connected to my daughter's phone, so just in case, she would have conversations with other people, um, and know what she was saying. So I have swag, sweet, but that was the. I don't even know what I was talking about now. I just lost my mind for a moment. So I have swag. I hope that's a good thing. Where are you from, anyways? I'm from upstate Rome, New York, USA, of course. I'm sure right now not many people are liking US citizens. Believe me, it's not our fault. It is Trump's fault. It is Mr. Trump. It is not us. Mm-mm. So I'm sure right now when you see, if somebody sees an American, plenty Americans. I remember growing up and I was residing in England. Um, that was my mom's country. My mom was, well, my mom came from Wales, but we settled in England in the UK. Um, but I remember a lot of times when something went wrong and they saw an American around, bloody Americans, bloody Americans. I remember that. And I was like, oh my God, what did we do now? But every time they had like a commercial on, and it was with some Coca-Cola commercial or something, and it says, "Oh my God, you bloody Americans! You're always coming out with these bloody commercials." I was like, "Oh no!" But I was like, because a lot of times I had to prove that I was American because I definitely at the time did not sound American. I said it sounded more, I would say more British than anything at the time because that's what I was mostly influenced by. Well, my dad's Mexican American, and he spoke Spanish when he was very upset. When he was very upset, usually like non English language would come out. And that's when we knew we had to run for it. We had to go, whoa, we got to get out of here. But most of the time he spoke English, and my mom had a different dialect of English. So we were basically influenced by the American and the English at the same time. So growing up, most of our language was English, but a different English. And then when I came to the States when I was 13 for permanently on American soil, um, I spoke mostly British, but eventually my being in the US for so long, I think I sound more American now. I think I definitely, just certain words come out a little differently. And sometimes I have to stress my words a bit because it does come out a little different. So, I don't know. How is everybody here? Whoever's here. Well, all I know is but I do notice the changes from when I was a child all the way from when my kids were kids to now sadly my grandchildren's generation. Um, things are much nastier, mean. The values of family, respect, thrown out the window. It's not even there really too much anymore. You still have it, but it's not many people doing it. And most people come from broken homes. I even came from a broken home. And that's a fact. I think most things started getting pretty bad when I was about a teenager. And I noticed that difference. And all the way from um and then when my kids when they came into the picture, things changed for them too. Things got even more worse. Disrespectful. Um and the language. Oh, MG. I wouldn't no matter how angry I was at my parents, I never disrespected my parents the way that you see kids disrespecting their parents. Oh my. I see some kids going into the store telling their mom the F word, the B word. I ain't gotta listen to what you gotta say. I was, ooh. I get Vicky, be quiet. Oh my gosh. And then if they can't get their way, they're flopping their bodies all over the floor. Are you kidding me? I remember one time I went into the ah I think it was Tops at the time. I think so. It was like a grocery store. And there was a bunch of us at the cash out line, right? And in the other line there was this little girl. Her parents said no about something. And she was just screaming, stomping her feet, yelling at the top of her lungs. And then she started flopping her body on the floor. Finally, she got back up. And then she ran to the magazine aisle. I want this then. And parents said no. And then she just raved, like. And then there was someone in the line that was with me. Man, if that was my daughter, I'd be whooping her right now. Honestly, if that was my kid, I would have just left the groceries there, took her home, and then came back. That's crazy. But they gave in to her. They finally gave in to her and gave her what she wanted. How are you teaching your kid no means no when you finally give in to them? I would have just left the stuff there and would have left. Took her home, found a way to come back to get what I need. Heck no. How are you teaching your kid the word no if you're eventually going to give in to them? I don't understand that. But I've definitely learned a lot through my time and learning from other people. And this is our generation. Generation of no consequences for actions. They get away with murder and it's crazy. Well, it was nice talking to you guys. Is anybody here? But yeah, I just thought I would make a little conversation because today I was looking at the news and I can't believe the war that's going on, and believe me, even Americans were caught up in Dubai. Not just Americans, people all over the country from Europe to different parts. It's crazy. And all you saw were bombs and I mean, whatever those things coming down and destroying certain places. But then I mean, it looks calm now, but still, you never know when Trump is going to say again, now you're going to go and, bomb this place. We're going to do some more bombing and you're going to get caught up into it if you don't ever leave. You know what I'm saying? I It is sad that people are I don't understand. We all started from the same source, but all we all we do is hate on one another. I will never understand. I People can be so wicked, but then some could be so loving. I don't know. But all I know is that we are definitely living in times of distress. We're living in the end days. We're very close to it. We are definitely in the feet of the statue. And it's like this was told 2,000 years ahead. I mean, this was told 2,000 years ago of our time. 2,000 years ago. Huh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. 2,000 years ago, our time was foretold. The time of the end. Because everything is coming to be as it said it would be. But we have better things ahead that I'm looking forward to. That I am definitely looking forward to. The hope that was promised and that I'm going to keep in mind. It was nice getting to know you guys. Have a good night. Adios. Adios.